Welcome back, everyone. The Halloween Haunts 365.com, the podcast. I'm Jared.
Hi, I'm Terry.
Today, we have a fun episode, but we got to play a quick video so you can not buy our stuff. All right, so today we have from the Valley of Fear, Mike and Christian. Yeah, we try not to give up too much. I usually give up like a scene, maybe two per attraction, because the point is to get people there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's it, man. But there's some cool upgrades this year. That's for sure. And we very much like a lot of it to stay a surprise.
I hate interviews this time of year because we're so close. They get me so excited.
I know.
So, we'll start off with just tell us a little bit about yourselves.
All right, well, Christian, you go first.
Okay, I've been working with the Valley of Fear for my 21st year, I think now.
Thanks to COVID, yeah, it would be 22.
It would be 22, yeah. So 21 years there. Started as a haunter in a little room with a really horrible mask, and made that haunt like fun for me. So and then it kind of hit me, and I just stuck with it and stayed there since. And then started doing the supervisor role a few years back, and loved helping molding people into finding their characters, finding, getting all that like anger that they have from the regular 9 to 5 jobs out of them, and just making it like it's almost like how I run the trail, so it's like a play. So I treat it like an act 1, act 2, act 3 kind of deal.
Yeah.
Each one. So and I don't really see that. I was trying to find stuff I don't see a lot on hayrides, and try to make it something different. So that's what we try to do there with that. And then outside of this, I do horror photography and everything like that, and the video films. I do all the videos there.
Christian Levin's Morbid Art Images. Look it up.
Oh, I will. And we'll be talking more.
They're sick. They're cool.
Very awesome.
And then I pretty much everything I do is love for horror, alternative, and theatrical arts. So it's perfect spot for me to be there and get people going and making them have fun, and scaring the hell out of people. That's what we're there for. So
I love it.
Yep. Yeah, so Christian, he's basically in charge of making sure that the hayride. So for each of since we have 3 attractions, each attraction has its own supervisor. So Christian does the haunted hayride. I have Escape from Willie's, Shipwreck Cove, and our other cohort, Jimmy, who runs Miles Manor, the haunted house. He couldn't make it tonight, but we do have an extra guest with us. If you look between our shoulders, you see Sean back there. Sean and I start. He's our Bobo the Hobo, pretty popular character that we have. So him and I started working there when we were 13, 14 years old.
Wow.
This would be, if it wasn't for COVID, this would be our 20th season, but 19 this year. So long time.
That's fantastic.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
Been there a long time. So we've seen a lot, we've done a lot. And he just walks around and likes messing with people. He's real popular, walking around the lines and the picnic grove. And one thing that sets us apart from a lot of the attractions is our like entertainment area with the fire and the snacks and all that stuff is completely separate from the haunted attractions, which sort of separates us from a lot of people. There's also something, speaking of that, one thing that a lot of people are going to be excited about. One thing we never really promoted a lot was and you guys might remember from every time you come, but they charge $5 for parking.
Yeah.
So that money goes towards or went towards the soccer youth groups for the Phoenix Sports Club, which is the property that we're on. They're not doing parking no year. This year we're in charge of the parking, so parking is free now. So we're not charging parking anymore.
Nice.
There you go. Save $5.
Yeah, man. So at least that's what I'm told. Don't hold me to it. It might change. Parking should be free this year.
All our fans know everything on this channel can friggin' change.
Anything can change last minute. So a little bit about me. Like I said, this will be my 19th season. Started out haunting. I've haunted all 3 areas up on the Hayride Trail. I've done, I've been in the haunted house. I was, down in the Valley when we called it the Valley when we first opened. And then, it turned into Scary Tales, which was
Yes.
if you remember that, our fairy tale themed haunt we had that we
Oh.
took all the fairy tales and we twisted it to our own liking.
Yep.
So the main thing I did in there, I was one of the Tweedles in Alice in Wonderland. And then we stopped Scary Tales for a few years and became the Underworld, and then we did 2 years of that, and I was like, let's go back to Scary Tales because that was popular. Everybody loved that because
Yep.
it was very unique. You can't really go anywhere else, and you couldn't go anywhere else and find an attraction like that, and it worked out. But I think it ran its course. I wanted to end it before it got a little too overbearing and old. And when I mentioned to Rob, our creative director, I'm like, hey, let's bring back the pirate haunt. Because I think it was 10 years ago when our pirate ship on our haunted house burned down. And not to be biased or anything, but the pirate ship that we had back then was the coolest haunted house I've ever seen in my life. They put so much money, work, and dedication into that thing, and it was so freaking cool. And I've been to a lot of places. That was by far the coolest haunted house I've ever seen. It was so neat. So when I told him, I'm like, hey, let's bring back pirates. He goes, nah. He calls me a week later. He goes, you son of a bitch, I can't stop thinking of pirates. So we're going to do this, 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 and this. I'm like, yeah.
That's awesome.
So we started it off last year. You couldn't get everything done we wanted to do last year just because of the time constraints. And, it's just like everywhere else, it's hard finding people who want to work. People just do what they want to do. But then, they've been working their butts off all summer, all day and all night to do more upgrades down there and get it ready because there's just quite a bit that's been added down there already. And then over the next couple of years, we're just going to keep adding more and more and more and more and more. And it's going to get to that level where you're going to, walk down there and be like, wow. So that's what we're aiming towards.
Yeah, I'm excited to see the changes there.
Me too.
Yeah.
It's going to be cool, man. A lot of special effects, a lot of stuff that I don't want to really give away. We're not even telling our cast about what we're adding and what we're changing until our staff picnic, which will be in a couple weeks. So none of our actors even know what's new or anything. We're keeping it a secret from them too.
That's awesome.
That's good.
That's very good. Yeah, the one thing that stuck out to me at Willie's Shipwreck Cove was the end scene. I won't give that away because it's really cool, but that was really cool.
I mean, that's all right. 'Cause, I mean, it's most people who watch us have probably already been through it.
Yeah.
So they've seen it at the very end. So that is changing. That's growing. What we had last year, you walked in, you had Davy Jones sitting there on his throne, and then the projection screen across from him, and then you'll go up through the thing. That part I won't give away because it's cool. But that very very last part that you go through there that sort of disorients you, we may or may not be adding some more of those. So I don't know if we are, and I don't know where.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, man.
So
a lot of stuff's getting added, and we're really, really excited for it.
yeah, I can't wait.
It's going to be cool.
Yeah, I said I hate interviews this time of year because I get so amped up, and then I look at the countdown. I'm like, fuck.
I mean, the good part too is like with that, no matter what we add or don't add, one thing that Christian and I and the other supervisors take pride of is, even if some of this stuff doesn't get done or it doesn't get done right, and we got to pull it out last second, we take pride on our cast. We heavily rely on our haunters. And I tell any haunt review company, I'm like, listen, as cool as some of my other attractions are, I'll put our actors up against anybody anywhere. Like some of my favorite attractions that I've ever been to. My favorite attraction I've ever been to is about 2 hours from here. So I mean, it's pretty cool. Not to be biased, because I'm not to go, oh, we got the best haunted hayride ever. There's plenty of people like that. But listen, our attraction's really, really cool, but you got to have a favorite that's not your own. What? For instance, if on a night that you're closed, where do you want to go?
Right.
Where do you want to check out on a night your attraction's closed? And we all have that. And most of us agree what our favorites are, other than where we work. Yes, Sean, the bar too. Bobo the hobo likes the bar.
That's not a problem. You need it after those
Man.
nights.
So it's always fun.
So is this
weather? Go ahead.
Is this the first haunt you guys have worked at?
Only haunt I've ever worked at. Yeah.
Okay.
For me. Yeah. Christian, same for you.
Yes.
Yep, same for
Hmm.
Sean back there. Yeah, we've been here more than half our lives.
Yeah.
We've had the options to go other places, and we've been offered to go other places, but it's a loyalty thing, man. It's we stick around and we do it, and we stay there, and
I
it's
don't know. I think I'm more like a basketball player. I'm gonna go where the money goes. I say.
yeah. So I mean, it's and we no, we've never been anywhere else.
Yeah, I don't. I always thought of that. Like if I were to go somewhere, it's like I'm starting completely new, and I'm like, I'd rather stay with what I know, and I get a. I don't know. It's like home to me there. Like,
Oh, yeah.
Every year I get there, I hear the same noise, the same smell, and it's like, let's do this. Let's
I
get
hear
here, and it just always is a fun time. So.
Yeah. So it's fun. I mean, we get a lot of our haunters that come from other attractions too, and they have a blast. They love it. They end up sticking around for years and years.
Yeah.
So we always.
Yeah, or like that haunt shuts down and they, so they have nowhere to go, so they'll come to us or anywhere else. And it's always cool hearing them say like, "Oh, this place is like really great for this." And so it's really cool because it shows that we take pride not only in what they build, but what we try to bring out of people.
And it was cool. I mean, COVID was a curse and a blessing for some of our people, as far as working at other attractions, because there were some attractions that they did stay open for that year. Most of us were closed, even though a lot of them did the drive-through thing. So, a lot of our haunters, even one of our other supervisors, they went and worked elsewhere for that season we were closed. And so, they got the experience and they got the exposure to how other places run, what they do and what they don't do, and how it differs from our attraction. Because while you're in the same church, you're in a different pew for
Yep.
every attraction you go to work at. So
Yeah, that's true.
it's really cool to see how other people act.
I think I lied. I did work at one other haunted attraction when I was like 12 or 13.
It was a very long
It was
time
actually
ago.
at a cemetery, a hillside cemetery in Roslyn. They turned the whole cemetery into a haunted hayride.
That's
I
pretty
was-
cool.
I was a kid zombie.
Oh,
Awesome.
that's pretty cool.
And
Yeah.
it only lasted 2 years, and then the neighborhood was like, "No, you can't do it."
Damn neighborhoods.
What's your favorite attraction at Valley of Fear? The question's for both of you.
So Mike's just a hero.
Well, Bubba the Hobo says the porta potties.
I got it. Yeah.
That's
It's a
we
loaded
can't
question.
Really go
Are you
off
talking about
of
in general, speaking of right now, or like since we've been working?
Let's go since you've been working.
this is 20 years we have to filter
I
through
know.
our head.
I ask hard questions. I'm
All right,
mean.
now let's narrow down the question a little bit. Attraction as in hayride versus haunted house versus down in the woods,
Correct.
or a certain scene in one of those.
Nope, just straight up 3 attractions.
Because we used to have 4.
I know.
Man, that's really hard. My favorite ever would probably be the original Willie's.
Okay.
The original Willie's Shipwreck Cove. I think most people would not disagree with me on that who've seen it. Yeah, that's either that or our original Miles Manor that we turned into the ZRC, which is the Zombie Research Control Facility, which that was freaking cool.
I remember that.
It all burned down.
I know.
Yeah, I think by the look of everything, I'd have to say it was the original Willie's. Shipwreck Cove was probably the best thing I saw there when it came to like the experience of going in somewhere. I'm with him. I say it was the original Miles Manor because we had like a lot of they don't work there anymore because they're older. But like when I went there were a lot of seasoned vet haunters in there, and like they went all out. They had me climbing on the walls, and I'm like shimmying up walls. Young then, so I was able to do that stuff.
Yeah.
I was having people running out of the exit rooms, and it was just a great time with great people. So I would say that was probably the best I saw as a team. So I would go with that for those 2.
Yeah, our original the original haunted houses that we had were a step above the rest, man. They were so
At that
cool.
time,
We
at
missed
that
them
time, yeah.
for that time there, for
Yeah.
that time period. And we missed them, man. They were neat, but we're working our way back to blowing those out of the water.
It takes time, but you get there.
But overall, the hayride's the best thing there. So.
I remember last year I had a hell of a time on that hayride.
It's fun, man. It's very theatrical. So I mean, you know, like with our cast, we have to make sure, because especially the wagons, they're larger than a lot of other attractions, and we put a lot more people on our wagons than some other attractions as well. So, you know, they got to make sure that they're moving quick and they're, you know, they're being theatrical and they're being loud so everybody on that wagon can hear them.
I don't know how other people do it at other attractions, but I ride on a wagon before we open, and I get the timing down, and then I write out scripts and dialogue for everyone to go over, and then I'm like, this is like your run through sheet, make it better, you know, but here's, you have this amount of time before the wagon hits here, and this is where this hits here, so this is where you should be here, but so everyone's like well paced. So like I said, it's like a play to me, so I'm like, and I think that's where you get what you just said, where it's like everything's rehearsed, you know, and it's not. And then once you have the timing down, that's when you can let your mind go and go, okay, well, I have this to do this, and I have 25 seconds to get to here. So I can do what I want to do now and still hit that spot over there. And it's pretty cool how I see everyone kind of do that on there and get everybody on every side of the wagon. That was a hard thing back in the day, was trying to get each person. Now they're able to do it, and it's pretty cool.
It's still a challenge, but it happens.
Oh, you can tell. You can definitely tell.
I mean, if you looked at most haunted attractions that have a hayride, you know, and you go through reviews, the biggest complaint is, oh, they were only on the one side of the wagon most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
It's tough to combat that sometimes, especially on nights that an attraction is, you know, short staffed, whether it's ours or anywhere else. I mean, when we go visit other attractions and we're on their haunted hayride and everything's sort of one sided, we get it. You know, we don't knock them for that because we know how it is.
Yeah. I had a conversation with one of the other haunt content crews, and it was about the hayride and how I was so excited to walk the Bates Motel hayride last year because of COVID, because I got to see everything. Yeah. Like, there wasn't the one side thing, there wasn't the other side thing, you're not breaking your neck. It was all in front of you for the first time. So
if I wasn't working last year, I probably would have went to that, because that was pretty enticing for me to go, because I used to go to Bates all the time.
Yeah, like, I love Bates. It's a good time, but finally being able to walk the hayride, because, you know, you can walk up to the Bates Motel that they have there and see that he actually has a TV in there. Mm-hmm. To show that, you know, background lighting and everything.
Yeah, just they do a good job, man. It's cool.
Just to be able to see that detail by walking the hayride. So that was just a conversation me and another dude had about it, because he's glad the hayride's back. I'm like, I'm gonna kind of miss walking it.
like we actually, our creative director, he contemplated doing that, about, you know, not doing the wagon, just having people walk through the hayride trail, and that fire quickly died. I'm
sure, because then the actors also have to play security, which kind of sucks.
Yeah. And I think it's more of a nostalgia feeling for people, especially like people my age, where like that's what you did when you were a kid. You know, like you got on the wagons and you were with your family. And so I as much as I would love to walk it, I would probably be a little part of me kind of like, oh, what, no wagons? You know, I would. I mean, I would.
Yeah, I was sending feelers out. Like, maybe we could have one day that it's walking, so you could choose which one you wanted to do.
The hard part with that too is, you know, most hayride trails are so long, and the ground isn't exactly even.
Oh yeah,
right.
So, at 99.99% of haunted attractions, you know, if you decide to start letting thousands of people walk through the hayride trail,
that might end that.
The cost versus effect with the liability, you know, it's.
Well, I get done cleaning up at the end of the night, and I find some random person in the woods. I got lost.
That's true too.
You know, one of the hardest things to do as a haunter is keeping people moving.
Yeah.
And once, you know, when people are walking through and, you know, they're stopping, they want to talk to the haunters, they want to look at everything around them, and then, you know, some people, they just stop for so long. Now they're backing up the whole line. Mm-hmm. And then before you know, you got a steady flow of 200 or 300 people coming through. And the hunters are like, okay, come on.
All right, here, I need water.
Yeah, and your hayride pretty much controls your whole night because it dumps off into Miles Manor.
Yeah, it's like last year we had a record-breaking year with the amount of people who showed up. We did, I think, almost 30,000 people, and that's a lot for us.
That's awesome.
I mean, there are some other larger attractions who, you know, they handle 30, 40, 50,000 people, no problem. You know, they'll do that in a weekend. But they're also a lot larger, and they have a different flow of things with how we flow things. With how we're doing it now, we're going to be able to handle those larger crowds without extremely long wait times. Like even with last year, we had the biggest lines we ever saw. We still we pumped it out. We got a handle over it pretty easy, pretty fast.
We usually got done around the same time that we would done on a lower night than what we usually had. So I think that's a win.
That is big win.
Later than what might be, but that's still pretty darn good for not expect. We didn't know what to expect because at that time, I think we were like one of the only attractions really open.
Yeah.
So or they were doing stuff where some people were like, I don't really want to go to that. So then where are they going to go?
Yeah.
So we're the only ones there, and we're getting all that. And I mean, there were some like headaches here and there with it, but I think I was really proud of how the staff, like the security and the wagon people that are in charge of all that, they did a really awesome job with that. So I think we'll be fine this year with bigger numbers.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah, we're changing the flow of things with how the wagons go through and how often. So, I mean, sometimes, a wagon, one of our wagons, they'll be sitting at the top of the hill for 15, 20 minutes waiting for, people to fill out the wagon. But we're not doing that anymore. We're setting an X amount, a certain amount of time. And once that time hits, it doesn't matter if there's 2 people on the wagon or 50, it's rolling. So
it's a good idea.
That is a good idea.
That'll help keep the lines down, especially for, inclement weather. Last year we had to close early on one night because out of nowhere, at like 11 o'clock at night, it started pouring. And, we weren't expecting it to rain till 1 o'clock, but it moved in early. So we had to close everything early. So we had some pretty upset customers that night. But
you had a couple of upset supervisors.
Yeah.
That was my night of shine.
It was fun.
It was, but you find the hiccups and then you fix them, and that happens. And I think we're really prepared this year for any type of like situation like that. So.
That's awesome. So, what does a normal haunt night look like for you guys? Like a night in the life of a manager, we'll say.
All right. So, I mean, usually Christian and I will show up. We get there early. Our check-in for our haunters, we ask them to start showing up around 5 o'clock for their makeup and costumes. And usually, they'll go in, they'll get their costumes first, and then they'll get their makeup done. And usually when their makeup's done, they'll hang around the makeup trailer for a little while. And, while they're all getting their makeup and costumes done, Christian, myself, and the other supervisors, we're trying to keep track of who's here and who's not here for the night, and who messaged who on, hey, I'm not coming to work tonight, so we can figure out when we have, our overflow staff that come in, which we call floaters, who we're going to place where in what different scene or attraction each night. So, I mean, from 5 o'clock until we open, we're going
and also
constantly.
And also, and I can't speak for you, but then I have to go up and run the whole trail to make sure everything's going well, everything's working. And if not, then I have to call one of the maintenance guys to come up. And then if I have to make sure all my people are where they're supposed to be. And then I have to make sure all the sets are working. So and then usually I'm getting yelled at by our wonderful top of the trail guy, Bob, yelling, are they ready to go out yet? Can we go out yet? And I'm yelling at him, going, but then everything goes well, and then smooth sound after that. So, but yeah, usually it's a little hectic for us, but it's like we make it fun, and we're all friends, so like we have fun making fun of the situations afterwards. So.
So I mean, we're pretty busy when we get there.
Yeah.
I mean, he does his checks on the haunted hayride. The house supervisor does his checks at the house. I do my checks down in the woods. Make sure everything's ready to go. We turn the foggers on last minute, so we're not wasting juice from 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon until 7 o'clock when we start rolling wagons. So we turn them on just so they can start warming up in enough time for people to start coming through, and everything's nice and foggy. But between making sure everything's ready to go, from our maintenance people who are there at probably around noon to start setting everything up for that night. Make sure everything's still working and not broken, and then making sure all the right spots are filled, or at least all the key spots are definitely filled for the night, and then filling in dead spots and keeping track of over 100 different haunters who's going where for what night. Everybody, all the haunters get their assigned spots And sometimes we do have to shuffle some people around. And then throughout the night, it's just, checking on everybody, helping the haunters with their act, making sure that, see if they need anything, making sure they stay hydrated throughout the night. It just,
Speaking of that too, is also like if there might be a haunter that we give them a spot because they're brand new, and then we see after like a week we see like, oh man, this person would be really good over here instead. So we'll make shift changes and stuff like that because we're constantly watching them to make sure like we want to see them. Mainly our goal is to make sure everyone has fun and they take pride in their work and they're happy. And when we see stuff like that and we see something that could be more beneficial to that haunter, then we're like, hey, we're going to give you this because you've been busting your butt, and we can see that, and we want to not have you just be a pusher or a button holder, and and it gives incentive, So,
yeah, we'll do similar things for returning cast members too. Like, so when we have returning cast members and we put them in a new role for any season, if they're not hitting it out of the park like they were with previous roles, then we move them. Because we want to make sure that our attraction operates at the highest level possible to make sure the customers are really getting a good show and a good scare.
I gotta give the masses what they want. It's a good show.
Yep.
A lot of things how we train our haunters is, listen, you're not here just to scare people. That's your primary goal, but it's an entertainment business.
Yeah.
You got to make sure.
If you can't scare them, make them laugh.
You got to make sure they are having a good time, because it is not cheap to go to haunted attractions
No.
nowadays.
No.
So, and some people, you're not scaring. It's not happening.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
At least make sure they are having a great time.
Exactly.
And one part of that is one of a supervisor who used to work for us. He works elsewhere now, running another place. He always used to tell people, he's like, think of it this way. You got a family of 4 or 5 coming out, and they're spending the last bit of money they have for the week to be here. Make sure that it's worth it for them. So and that's what we do. We go off of that model. It's not perfect every night, but we do our best.
Yeah. Perfection's unattainable, especially at what you guys do. So how involved are you guys with the build or creative team?
So Christian and I, with our full-time jobs during the day, we don't really do much of that. I
don't wanna.
I have been there and done that.
I used to do it, and what they do is extraordinary, and it's amazing what they do. Some of the stuff that I helped is still standing there, which is pretty cool. But I don't know about him, but for me, I'm more shine up here with things that come out for people. So I take it as in we have people for that, and then you have me for this.
Yep.
And it kind of is a perfect circle with that type of stuff, because then you have really great artists that are in there creating this thing, and then you bring in people that can see what they built and then go, okay, I know what you did here. I'm going to make this how you see it. And it usually comes out really good. So I'm okay with taking a step back and watching that, do everything in the summer too. I'm very happy with that.
Yeah,
I'm in my AC.
We're good at throwing ideas out at them, especially Rob, who's our creative director. And I'm not a good builder. I fix people, not things. I'm an EMT full time in my real life job. So
Okay.
I do people. I don't build things. If I start building stuff, it's probably going to fall down.
I have enough time building sets in I have a giant warehouse for like Halloween photography stuff. So I'm like doing that. When they're like, hey, do you want to help me build? I'm like, I'm building up. I'm done. So I just built a giant swing set thing. So I'm done. So I'm like, I think that's good for the rest of the season.
So we're going to take a break from the haunt game real quick.
Sure.
Christian, favorite horror movie?
This is a loaded question, man.
There are 2 things that are horror related. That's not my favorite horror movie, but I love both. I'm going to go with my favorite horror movie is The Shining.
Okay.
It's
Good
just
movie.
Psychological. It hit everything. My dad looked like Jack Nicholson, so still does look like Jack Nicholson, just older. I just love the whole less is more kind of motif. I love the Saul stuff. I like that, but I've sometimes to me, you don't need all that to scare people. It's
Right.
making people uncomfortable and making their minds think what's happening. You know, what could be. It's like Pulp Fiction. What's in the briefcase? You know,
Yeah.
you don't know. So at least what's in the briefcase. So The Shining, I thought, did that very well with bringing out a psychological element and making me do this the whole time. So I'm like that, and then I'll go with Halloween. That would be my number 2. So.
Very cool. Mike, what do you got?
Oh man, I'm sitting here, as that question, Christian's answer, I'm thinking, I'm like, this is, I don't know, man. That's the tough question. Probably for me, it's, other than all the Halloween movies, we're huge, all Halloween buffs. Probably Carrie.
Okay.
I really, it's not one you hear about too often.
No, it
really,
isn't.
rather the old one or the newer version. That was what, 2016, I think, something like that.
Yeah.
I found they were fantastic. Those are
I'm a horror snob. I didn't like that.
I do. I did like Carrie.
I'm very snobbish. Most people don't like my opinions. So don't even get me started on Rob Zombie. but I forgot my number 1 thing. Jaws.
Jaws.
Greatest movie ever made.
Yeah, I'm up
Second
there with that.
greatest movie ever made is
Jaws 2.
Jaws. There's no Jaws 2.
There's no Jaws too.
It's Jaws. You know what the third greatest movie of all time is?
Jaws.
Jaws.
Christian's obsessed with Jaws. Just so you know.
My whole is Jaws.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, if you had to, horror runs and franchises, so what would be your favorite horror franchise?
Man, these are loaded questions. That's a good one,
I'm trying
man.
to think of quality, because I could say certain ones, but then I'm like, but a lot of the sequels were horrible, but the overall is good, but the sequels were ugh. So I'm trying to think of one that's pretty steady, like you're gonna have bad, not so out of the park ones, but
I mean, long franchises. If you want to step away from the typical slasher movies, Saw's always all the way up there.
Mhm.
The Saw movies are fantastic. I don't know.
damn, that is hard.
That's-
See, this is why I don't send the questions out, because it just
Dude,
creates.
they're hard, but
I
when you
know.
think about it, they're hard to answer.
I
You gotta
know.
put thought into these because there's just there's so much. I said aside from all the slashers.
If I had to go, but he's right though. If I had to pick anything where I go by quality of everyone's pretty good besides one, I'm gonna say the best franchise I've seen is Scream. Scream, I don't care what it says, it revitalized horror.
It
And
did.
it tends to do that still to this day. So I'm gonna, and I still, what was that, the 2014 one?
Something like that.
Yeah, whenever that one came out, I walked out hating it, and then I watched it again. I went, "Oh, I'm old."
Oh,
I loved it. And then
Scream
I loved
4, I think.
Yeah.
Scream
Yeah.
4. I didn't get any of the.
I had to watch it 3 times before I was like, all right, I kind of like it now.
And I thought it was very clever. Once I saw it again, I was like, "Oh, that's actually clever." That was good.
Yeah.
Besides Scream 3, which I wasn't it with,
Mhm.
I would go with the Scream franchise, and then after that would probably be yeah, I would say the Saw ones, I guess, because they're by just longevity of how they usually stay pretty good.
It's hard. I mean, it's
It is.
they're all so good because you got the Scream franchise, you
There's
got
also
Nightmare,
Sleepaway Camp.
Nightmare on Elm
Sleepaway
Street,
Camp.
all the 13s, all the Halloweens, and it's just there's
Sharknadoes.
Oh God.
top of the list.
Yep, number
Ain't
one.
nobody beating Sharknado.
I finally showed her Sleepaway Camp because she never saw the ending. So, it was a decent movie. But then we started Sleepaway Camp too, and I was like, no, this is
It was
this
god
is
awful.
bad.
Yeah, so bad.
Like, why are you giving up the killer in the first 4 fucking minutes? You could have made this okay.
Yeah. No, they didn't care.
Yeah.
I put that right up there with just huge disappointments. The first Sleepaway Camp is not even that good. It's just that ending.
Yeah.
What the hell, and
Yeah.
and It's like right up there with like Silent Night, Deadly Night to me, where like that whole movie, I'm sitting there watching and going like, this is bad. And then like at the tail end, you're like, oh, okay, I get it. All
Yeah.
right. What you did there? That's okay. You know, stuff like that. But yeah,
All right.
my franchise is Scream, I think, and so.
So we have a last movie question, and it's not any easier.
What's your favorite horror villain?
Michael Myers. It's typical. Let's shy away from this typical slasher. Favorite horror villain. Just racking through all of them. Man. Candyman's pretty cool.
I love Candyman.
That was good.
Like, I grew up in an urban setting, so Candyman was kind of like our horror movie. Because everything else was woods or rich people land or always, you know, the preppy place. Candyman was like, all right, I could, you know, fit in with this.
I always enjoyed that. Oh, he does a fantastic job.
Tony Todd got me out of a fight with the Jeepers Creepers guy. I was out of a fist fight with the Jeepers Creepers guy, the original, whoever that guy was. So Tony Todd jumped in, and he was like, "Hey man, the kid don't want to talk to you." And I was like, "Thanks, Tony Todd." Because the guy that plays the Jeepers, he was a tall guy, and I'm like, I might lose this one. You know, so thanks, Tony Todd, man. But oh man.
I mean, it's not hard to tell who mine is.
Duh. I'm surprised you don't come on our horror icon night because we have a fantastic Freddy Krueger.
I'll see how everything plays out this year. It's just there's prior engagements we got to handle. There's certain things we got to make it to, and like,
I get it, man.
I'm definitely not missing yours, guys.
Are you did you say yours is Michael Myers?
Other than Michael Myers, I think Candyman's one of my favorites.
Yeah. Man,
There's so many to choose from because I mean
because I'm also thinking of characters that like just freak me out, like the old man from Poltergeist 2 freaked me the hell out.
Yeah.
Kane, yeah.
Dude, I forgot about Poltergeist because I wanted to do a Poltergeist theme scene on the Helen Hayride.
Yeah,
I was shot down on it.
Oh.
We get shot down a lot.
Dude, I had a whole script and everything all written out. I'm like, dude, let's do it this way. It'll be so fucking cool.
Be glad because you'd be kicking me out for jumping off the hayride to be like,
I wanted to do a Dream Warriors one.
oh, see, I would have definitely been thrown out.
I was like, well, what do you need? I'm like, I want a snow machine. They're like, what am I want a snow machine. I want it to snow while the wagon's going through. And they were like, we can't do that. I'm like,
Which I don't know why not, because we used to have a foam machine. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
we used to have to walk through. I remember when I was, 15, 16 years old, and Rob, who's our creative director, one of our other old supervisors, they would tell me, yo, fill the room up. So I would fill the room side to side, top to bottom with soapy foam, and people would coming out soaking wet. And then the owner and his daughter would come over screaming at me, "What are you guys doing? Stop doing that!" I'm like, I was told to.
I would go with for villain wise, I'd go with it would be Michael Myers, but if I had to pick somebody else, I'd have to go with you know what? There's too many good, like there's little ones that I don't think people are really going to really grasp. You know, like I would say, Hannibal Lecter.
Oh yeah.
I love Hannibal Lecter.
We've gotten Hannibal Lecter actually.
Yeah.
There's classic things from like the movie Dog Soldiers. Like it wasn't even the werewolves; it was the lead, the villain in the Dogs. I thought was a terrific villain, like antagonist, stuff like that. You know, there's all type of stuff like that. Ginger Snaps, all those great stuff. Like
Ginger Snaps was a crazy movie. I just watched it for the first time like 6 months ago.
that movie's
I was impressed. I liked that a lot.
that was ahead of its time, I thought.
Yep,
like, and it was
definitely.
very radar. But yeah, stuff like that. Tim Curry's It petrified me when I was a kid. You watch it now, it's hard. Like it's not great. He's great in it.
Yeah.
But like there's like key things like that. So
You got him, but what's that guy's name that does new Pennywise? I can never pronounce it.
Skarsgård.
Skarsgård, yeah. Dude, I was so impressed with him.
Oh yeah.
He did such a cool fucking job on
I
that.
remember watching that movie. I was eating the popcorn with my I took my kid's mom and my kid, just my kid's mom, and I'm living there, and I read the book, and I'm eating the popcorn. That whole scene at the end, I turned, I was like, they did it right from the book. And I was like, I thought that was really well done.
That's awesome.
Thanks, man. Have you ever read the It books?
No,
Because they're fucking gory, man.
my kid read it.
Yeah, there's certain things that they were like, oh, we're gonna go straight from the book. I'm like, no, I don't think you should. You know, put in.
No,
You know,
it would go beyond the NC-17 or rated R.
Be rated.
I get 5 to 10 actually, 5 to 10 years probably.
Yeah, because
that book's really something.
I'm not a big reader, but when you get a chance, just read the book.
Okay. So random ask question time.
Sure.
Do you guys believe in ghosts?
Absolutely.
No.
Okay.
That's 50-50 there.
We're still at 50-50.
Yeah.
We ask everyone.
I'm very much like this. It's like if a religious person came up to me, like, believe in God, I'm like, I don't see it. I've never seen them, so I don't believe it. So it'd be kind of hypocritical for me to say I believe in ghosts when I never seen a ghost. But I don't knock people that believe it. I just never had that experience.
Gotcha. Very cool.
I have. Never seen.
You're full of shit.
I do have to poo a little.
All right,
Yeah.
so we'll bring it back to the haunted attractions because that's what we do. So, what can the fans expect from Valley of Fear in 2022?
Show up and find out.
Yeah.
I like it. That should be every answer for everyone's interview. Just come out and
Just buy the
Get in
tickets.
line.
For the trail, I can say, if you like theatrical elements to like scenes and have stuff of nostalgia from like if you're a horror fan like that, you will like to show a lot more because you're really pushing stuff like that.
Expect some new things and higher levels of energy and intensity.
Nice.
That's all I'm gonna say. I'm
say.
shutting myself up because
no problem.
there's so much cool stuff I want to tell you, but I can't.
You can hit my DMs because nobody sees that but me, so that's fine. I get a
going open tonight. I'm not telling you a damn thing. You're gonna find
okay. Yeah, we're sorry about that. It's just the way that shit played out.
That's all right, man.
We would
Like I told you in the DMs. I mean, really, the best part about going to any haunted attraction on opening night is all the haunters still have their voices.
yeah.
When they don't get
that's
yelling,
true.
you know, you can actually hear them, and they're loud and they're vocal, and they're not exhausted yet. So
Yeah, we would have
that's the
went.
good part.
We would have went later, but we're working on a Salem and then a haunted overload mission, so that's going to pretty much take up that whole week. So we just had to get as many into September as we possibly could.
Yeah, man, it'll still be cool.
Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to it. We're not going to ask
No.
that.
Where do you see Valley of Fear in 10 years?
Bigger and better, as always.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of changes coming down the pipeline that I can't talk about, but a lot of big changes are coming.
What he said.
I
What
like
he
it.
said, yeah. Would you be interested in starting your own haunt?
If I had the money, yeah. Because it's haunted attractions, man. It's a cash cow. If you do it right, you're going to make a lot of money.
Mhm.
But it costs a lot of money to do. So
It's not that I'm interested. I will one day. I just right now I'm focusing more on the other things I have going on at my juncture and stuff like that. But if that all works out, then yes, one day I would love to run one.
Yeah, I was talking to a guy at Night of Terror, and he had met someone at a con, and they were starting one somewhere. I couldn't imagine starting one right now with less than like $2 million. I don't.
yeah, man, it can cost a lot. Like
It's not,
our
even, it's not even that. Like if you buy the land and like the land looks great, and next you know you start building and you hit something, and they're like, oh, this is considered swampland. You can't do anything here. Well, now you own this land, and you can't build.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
things like that, like it's more than just oh yeah, I got a building and running. It's going to cost money. Like there's just the pre-production of dealing with that in fire zone and the safety inspections, and there's so
And
much involved.
even the community,
Lot of
because
headaches.
if they don't want you there, you're not going to be
That's
there.
it. Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, most new haunted attractions that pop up. There's a new one in Philly this year. I'm trying to think of the name of it.
Haunting of Lincoln
Oh,
Mill.
it's called Philadelphia.
Yeah. It's mostly like old hospitals or warehouses and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
I know what
Yeah.
you're talking. That actually looks pretty neat.
It does. I'm talking to them tomorrow.
that's something I want to go. 'Cause, I mean, the good things about those types of attractions and the nights we're closed due to weather, that's where we usually end up going to check out. Especially if there's a new place, and there's a new haunt in Philly this year that I would love to. I definitely want to go check out and see how they're doing. Because it also when you start a new attraction, it takes a couple years to really get the groove going.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So
They might hit it out of the park. Who knows?
yeah, I mean, we've seen some take off and some fizzle. It really, it's crapshoot. It really is. Like, there's one that's supposed to be opening around us in South Jersey, but there's no website for it yet. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think you guys are opening.
It's so much stuff that like goes into it, and if it's just like a guy with a dream or a girl with a dream, and there's like two people, it's a lot of headaches, you're going to
Yep.
spend money to make money, and it's just getting the right people around you that believe in what you want to do and get it going and keeping people motivated. If not, it's not gonna
Yep.
it's not gonna last. I'll tell you that much.
Yep.
That's just over the last 20 years of me being in this type of industry. I've seen them come and go, and it usually comes down to, and I hate to say that, but like poor management. And how to run a business.
Yeah. So I'm going to play devil's advocate here. So you're closed for the night. Valley of Fear's not here. What's your other favorite haunt?
Reaper's Revenge.
Hanging out with my kids.
At
At
the bar.
what did you say? Reaper's Revenge?
For me, it's Reaper's Revenge.
I haven't been to
Either
Reaper's
Reapers or I really like Shocktoberfest too.
Okay.
But there's so many there. There's so many within 2 hours of where we're at.
I know.
That's the best part about being in this area of the country. There's no shortage of amazing haunted attractions to go to.
What's the one in St. Louis at Transworld? They had a Transworld. I forget the name of it.
That's
Where it's like it's a large warehouse. It's like 10
yeah.
floors.
I can't think off the top of my head.
Something of the Dead or something like that? I don't remember.
I forget, but I remember that was probably the best visual thing I've seen in a long time. But if it was local around here, I would probably go to Eastern.
Well, I mean, Eastern State doesn't do terror behind the walls. They have their haunted houses.
Probably Penhurst.
Um,
I'd probably go to Penhurst. Penhurst or you know what? No, I'd probably go to Bates just because I've been going there for so long. I'm probably I'm going to go to Bates. But I would say probably Reapers, but I haven't been there yet. So
You kind of have to go to Reaper.
Yeah,
well,
you
every
have
single
to
time-
go.
Every single time they decide we're going to Reapers, it's always on a day that I can't go.
Ah.
Don't look at me. I don't make these decisions. I just tag along and drive.
I'm not one to go alone.
I got you.
And I'm like, anyone want to go? And everyone's like, well, we already went. I'm like, well, then fuck you.
I mean, another cool attraction. So I don't know if you've been there yet. One of our old supervisors, he's one of the guys running the show over there. Is another really cool one to check out is Lehigh Valley Scream Park.
This is going to be our first year.
So it's cool how they have it set up, man, and how organized it is. And I'm really excited to see what the future brings for them.
I like your ticket clock number.
Yeah, especially it's cool how they have it, man. I definitely want to check them out again this
I
year or
must be
next
getting
year.
old because I was like, when I walked out, everyone was talking about the horror. I was like, I just liked how they had a ticket showing number, and like you could look at you're like, oh, I'm number 25. Oh, it's 23. Oh, I was like, all right.
Yeah, I really
was cool.
when we went and checked them out last season, I really enjoyed it. It was cool.
Yeah, it was good. I liked the sets were. I was really impressed by their sets that they had.
All right, cool.
And
I'm
their,
excited.
outside
Yeah.
pavilion- the outside pavilion probably was really cool too. Yeah. So
And I heard they have amazing French fries, which I'm looking forward to
Dude,
trying.
stay the hell away from their snack stands. You're not gonna walk away from them. It's fantastic. Like, they have a bar there. They have all kinds of different snack stands, and it's good.
Yeah.
Did you say bar?
Yeah.
You piqued her interest with bar.
Yeah, I mean, because we do we have a beer tent now too. So I mean, you can get alcohol
Yeah.
at our attraction now.
Yes.
That started last year, and so I mean, you're starting to see that with more attractions, which is
I did.
it's a curse and a blessing for us.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, but it's fun, man. It's cool.
Yeah, I remember they were like, "What did they say?" Like, "Oh yeah, we're
Our-
showing
the
alcohol this year."
security
And I was
hates
like,
it.
I was like, "Great! I'm so happy! Like, can't wait to see my
Yeah.
guy come up. Like, what happened? He hit me."
I mean, the haunters have more fun with people when they're a little tipsy,
Mhm.
but the security guards hate it.
Yeah, and I don't blame him. I don't blame him.
Oh, that's
But
awesome.
it's all fun. Yeah, we have a good time.
Very cool. I'm out of questions, so I'm going to have you guys talk about your social media. Christian, your background business with the photography. Feel free. Pimp it out. Tell people about it.
Yeah, well, Mike, do you want to go over the Valley of Fear stuff?
Yeah, you can do that too.
And go ahead and go plug yourself,
Plug
Christian.
myself. All right,
You
so
love yourself.
a couple of things that I'm doing right now. So I have my Morbid Art Images. You can find it on Instagram, Morbid Art Images. That's all geared to horror, alternative horror, fashion in that creepy vibe. My whole thing is like to make the strange and peculiar look more normalized and like appreciate it. Then I have a group of models that I have working with me called the Morbid Models, and we're going to be doing a whole big thing. That's a big thing where events and stuff like that, where we're going to be going to different venues and promoting. I have a giant warehouse, 5,500 square feet warehouse that is geared towards the multimedia, so you can do video work there, photography, you can film, you can do every event. Hopefully we're able to do events eventually in there, but right now we're going out and venturing out, subletting out in different places.
If you allow screen sharing, I can show you some of Christian's work.
Well, except for the top row up there.
I don't know how to do that. Let's see.
Because it says host disabled participant screen sharing. Some of it's a little racy, but it's really cool.
I'll look at it after, just in case certain things happen with the
I'll
YouTube.
send you the link.
Yeah, I'll definitely check it out.
Morbid Art Images, and then I have and I just opened up the one. It's the Morbid Models, and that's going to be they're coincide with everything. And then we do I do like weddings and events and gigs and stuff like that too. And then I have a team of it's like me, another photographer, a DJ, and a videographer. So instead of running around trying to find a photographer, then you get the photographer, and then you're trying to run around and get the DJ for the wedding. And we're all working together, and it's one strict price that's lower than most, and then you're done. And then we come in, we do meetings with the clients, and it doesn't have to be wedding, it could be any type of gig or stuff, and we venture out that way. And it's a venture group thing that we do to reach one of us, and it's pretty exciting. And plus with the horror stuff that I'm doing on top of that, so I'm getting to do the creepy stuff, and I can do the happy stuff and all the nice stuff for families and stuff like that. So it's pretty long road, but starting to work out. Very happy.
Awesome.
That is good.
That sounds like a
Friends,
lot of
if you
fun.
guys wanted to do a really cool spooky couples shoot, right here.
And we will have, if you're ever out here and you need to, I'm building a podcast room, a giant podcast room. So you can bring your equipment, you can do your podcast there too.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Nice.
That's a good idea.
Stuff like that.
From South Jersey, it'll only take you an hour and a half to get up here, so you'll be all right.
I get there about an hour.
So yeah, it's all geared towards stuff like that. Anything in the arts. Everything. I'm gonna have a makeup artist eventually up in there, creating and doing stuff like that too. So anything.
It's a good idea because like there's a ton of people that want to do a podcast but can't because they don't have the shit. That's what it took me. Like you guys, I've been a website for 7 years now. And now all of us, I finally was able to put some stuff together to start the podcast.
Yeah.
And it's something I've wanted to do for the last 5 years,
Yeah.
but we just didn't have the stuff.
It's always fun to do. I mean, I used to do an internet radio show with one of my friends, and we had a ton of listeners, but the podcast thing was nothing we never really did. We just went live on the internet radio and did some AM stations once in a while that we got banned from.
That's the ultimate goal, is to let people go in and hopefully have multiple warehouses. That's the goal, and like push for people to be able to rent out spaces and create and not have to do it in their garage and feel weird. And especially if you have clients, you're like, hey, come work with me. Where you at my garage? So you can actually have a professional atmosphere to present.
You want to come take photos in my bedroom?
So, and that's stuff that I was trying to push away, and also really big on like model safety. So like models can come to a safe place and not have to worry about the bullshit and get to work out and feel like they can be them and get their art out there. So that's
that's awesome. That's very cool.
I don't have a whole lot of social media plugs. I'm one of like 5 or 6 people who run the Valley of Fear page. I run, the Safety First Ambulance Facebook page. It's one of my other jobs. I have 29,000 followers on TikTok for no fucking reason whatsoever. So somebody posted a video of people on a boat and they crash. They're like, yo, somebody add a breakdown to this. So I did. I put it on TikTok, and before I knew it, it had like 5 million views and
wow,
900,000 likes. I'm like, oh shit.
That's awesome.
But I mean, I have nothing for myself. I'll plug our creative director stuff, Dead Rabbit Studios.
Okay.
Makes some of the coolest freaking masks, props, and costumes I've seen. And his studio is 5 minutes from the Valley of Fear. So, that's Dead Rabbit Studios. Write it down, look it up, and cool stuff. He has a booth at Trans World out in St. Louis every year. And does great selling his stuff there.
Some of the masks you see on my website or anything is usually made.
Yeah, and a lot of his costumes and masks you see at other haunted attractions. Field of Screams, Reaper's Revenge, Bates, they all buy his stuff to incorporate into their attractions. So it's really cool, especially his his pumpkin stalkers and corn stalker costumes, which are really cool. I know Reapers has a couple of them. I know Field of Screams has some stuff, and Bates has some stuff, and Shocktoberfest too, I believe, and a bunch of other places. I mean, all over the country he sends his stuff. So Dead Rabbit Studios is really cool. Check it out for fun, cool stuff.
Awesome.
And the Valley of Fear.
And add the Valley of Fear on Facebook. Damn it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All of it.
If you watch this video for this long, you can add the Valley of Fear on Facebook.
Yep. I think we're on there, right? Yeah.
You better be.
Well, it's weird because when you're a page, you have to wait for those things to pop up. You can't search for groups to follow. It's the weirdest thing.
And that's what I do. A lot of times too, when I'll comment on other haunted attractions posts and stuff as the Valley of Fear. So we just like to show camaraderie and with other haunted attractions and get rid of sort of that competition.
It's the man trying to keep us down. That's what
Yeah.
They don't want us to prosper. Grow.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't personally. I don't look at other haunted attractions as competition, especially since there really aren't any super close to us other than I think Sleepy Hollow, which is only 15 minutes from us, and they have a good attraction too. But other than that, everyone's over an hour away, so there's not a whole lot. Oh, there's Fright Factory. They're not far either. I love Fright Factory.
Yeah, they're a fun one.
That's fun.
That's a cool place. That one. There's one person in the last 10 years of all the haunted attractions we've gone to that made me go like, oh, motherfucker. And that was some priest guy at Fright Factory just came out of nowhere. I'm like, you son of a bitch. I almost picked him up and took him with me because I loved it.
That's awesome.
You're going to come work for me. But we don't poach haunters. We leave them where they're at.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
If they come to us, sure.
Yep.
But we're not gonna go poach somebody else's actors.
That's awesome. But I want to thank you guys for coming on. This has been a fun conversation.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having us. Look forward to seeing you in a couple weeks, man.
Oh yeah, we'll be there.
All right.
We will be there.
Any date changes?
Running up and down the hill to say hi. I'll come over in sweatiness and say hi back.
Yeah.
We'll do our best to come through the attractions with you.
Yeah,
So
we'll try.
All right,
when
cool.
you get there, just tell them, like, yo, tell the supervisors to get over here, and we'll come meet you. And
Yeah.
we'll get you through.
Awesome.
So
Yeah.
make sure you bring a big group of people.
I can work on that.
Maybe we'll have Bobo the Hobo go through with you.
That sounds good.
It'll be fun. But, all
Definitely.
right, guys. Very cool. We'll see you in a few weeks. All right.
Definitely. Thanks
Thank
for coming
you.
on.
All right. Adios.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye.
Oh, that was a fun interview. Did you have fun?
I did have fun.
We were doubled up on that screen there. That looked weird.
Mhm.
Oh, that's all we have for you today at Halloween Haunts, 365.com, the podcast, where every day is haunt season. Goodbye.
Bye.